Hello everyone, and welcome to the video update for 10th of August for Elite Encounters, the role-playing game Kickstarter that you all love to hate. I'm Dave Hughes, otherwise known as Selezen, and I'll be bringing you another fun-filled update full of fun games and tales of yore. Okay, I sent out the update to everybody this morning with the agenda on, so if anyone has seen it then hopefully you'll know what we're going to be on about. Hopefully quite a lot of information. I'm going to barrel through it because there's a fair bit again tonight, so I'm not going to waste time reading that out. If you've not read it, you can pause and read it later on if you want, but we'll be going through it step by step anyway, so if you're watching it live you won't need to. Okay, the general progress report this week. Generally the writing has been suffering a little bit again. I'll come into that later again, but a lot of work has been done sort of looking at how to fit Sam's feedback from his group last week again, so I'm still essentially going over the same things I was going over last week as far as that's concerned. The revisions to the structure of the vehicle and ship content has been going and then stopping and then going again for reasons which I'll give you more information about later on. The artwork has been the main focus of things again this week. More of the ship stuff getting done, how to represent them in narrative rules, and hopefully to make it expandable enough to pull it into the miniatures section, and hopefully make it quite embedded, is that the right word? Integrated, that's the word. Yeah, sorry. Thesaurus failure. Right, the vehicle encounter rules, yet again I think I'm really going over a lot of the same stuff I went over last week, because I'm still really much in the same place. The narrative based encounters are still in the process of being integrated. It says that they're fully integrated. They are kind of on paper, paper not actual text file, for again reasons which I'll come into later on. Miniature rules have been separated into those distinct subsections, so rather than being sort of part and parcel of the whole role-playing narrative rule part of things, the main body of the miniatures rules is fairly sizable, or at least it will be fairly sizable, because there's a lot of stats and information to try and go through when you're looking at how to use it alongside the Elite Dangerous game and make it have a correlation of all that stuff. So it will be, just one second, I'll just check something. It's fine. Like a book of its own within the main book, so it'll have its own chapter, its own section of the book. Anyone who's played anything like the Star Trek Faster role-playing game that came out in 80-something, 86, 87, something like that, where they had the Star Trek 3 Starship Combat game, will remember that there was a separate booklet as applied with that box set that gave you the rules for the miniatures. That's the kind of thing I'm looking at. So it's got its own distinct section that will link back into the main rules using the base stats that are used for everything. So vehicle record files have been updated and completely revamped to incorporate a vehicle card as part of the layout. Now that's something you'll get a quick look at later on. I'll go into it in more depth, so I'm just going to skip that for the moment, because I have been having some computer problems again this week. The laptop my wife let me borrow has proved to be useful to a point, but it's just not powerful enough to run anything more than just one thing at a time. So if I'm working on graphic stuff, which I need to do if I'm working on the cards or the stats or the ship files, record files and so on, it runs Inkscape fine. It won't run a graphics package particularly well, and won't open anything over 800 by 600, which isn't the resolution I want to run in when I'm doing graphics for this thing. And then God help me if I try and open Word 2013. The computer wouldn't open up the entire RPG file on its own in one go if it was the whole file put together. So don't you dare. So the concept of being able to work on it on my wife's laptop hasn't particularly been great. It's living to get a little bit done, but not a lot. And there you go, there's the whole root of the problem. Word 2013 actually crashes the laptop. The last time I tried to open it up, it opened up fine. It let me scroll down to the bit of the book where I was working, and then it went black. the entire window went black and the whole system locked up. No, serious. The upshot of that was I tried to save the file, it wouldn't save the file. Let me click on the button, but the button didn't do anything, so I had to actually crash the laptop back to an off state by holding down the power button, and you usually know, anyone who's into computers will know how bad that is. And the side effect of it was that the file I'd been working on was corrupted. And also because I'd only been sort of coming to a close of work on it, I hadn't done the backup as of yet at that point. Temp files were on, but the temp files were also corrupt. So there we go. I lost pretty much everything I'd done that evening. It sent me back onto back to the point I was at. So what can I do about it? Stripped down my own laptop again. It's been offline and sitting in a corner for however long it's been since I stripped it down last time. I looked up some information about any other problems that could be had with it, and saw that essentially you have to make sure that you strip the entire fan assembly down as well to clear everything out of the input and input and output vents, which I did. That obviously means taking it off the processor, which means you have to get more thermal paste, which I got, cleaned it all out, rubbed all of the disgusting thermal compound off, which had actually baked to a crust and was all over the processor, to be honest with you. Now, being a bit of a background as a techie guy, I know that when you put thermal compound on something, it's supposed to cover the surface of the heat transfer point, and not dribble around the edges, because it will then dissipate the heat through the compound into the surrounding board. And guess what? This thing was covered. There was about 2mm around the contact point on the main board, or over the top of the circuit, where this compound had gone all over. So there was a big clump of the stuff. So it must have been dripping heat into the main board for quite a while, which is probably going to explain why, when I upgraded to Windows 10 with its not as great power heat management, it broke it. So plan was get it working again. In the meantime, what did I do? I used a gaming PC to do graphics work. So I installed a graphics package, made sure I had what do you call it, that program that I use, Inkscape, that's it, onto the gaming PC, and did all the graphics work on the gaming PC. The cards you see on the page in front of me there are the second concept, or second beta if you like, of the vehicle card idea. A little bit more fully fleshed out, more information on there, and a lot more, a lot prettier essentially. I'm not entirely happy with the background on that, because it's turned out it's been a little too bright, which kind of mutes out the colour of the actual icons on the screen there. So I've modified that since I put this together last night, and it now has a darker background, which is just a plain black background at the moment, but I have an idea for a rather nice implementation of a background for those cards, which I'm quite happy with, and I'll hopefully be able to show you that next week. So that's the general concept for the cards. The narrative rules start card is now, as I say, it's a working prototype now. It looks like it has enough stats on there to be able to handle the narrative rules. I've actually realised today, actually in the last couple of hours, that the shots per turn stat isn't entirely accurate. I may have to change that, because the concept isn't really shots per turn, it's damage per turn. It can be dealt out by that weapon. So that terminology needs to change slightly as well to fit in with the way the rules work. So yes, well, thank you, Commander Ripped. I'm glad you think so. As I say, they're not quite finished yet. I think the finished one will look a lot more polished than that, and will hopefully be sort of more. It will look part of a system, if you like. Part of a is it? Dictionary's offline again tonight. Nope, can't think of the word. It'll look nicer, but just leave it at that just now. So, other things I've done this week with the alongside the graphic stuff has been updating some of the stuff on the website. One thing that was asked this week I'll come to the questions and feedback, was to make PDFs available. I think it was Marco Suzumetsa asked if we could have the PDFs online, or at least some kind of written out thing. And although I have said that I'm not going to start putting written verbose updates up again, because the videos are a lot easier to do and present a much more information in a much more concise way. Obviously there is a need for some to have at least some text to read through as a summary, basically. And these PDFs that I use to put this presentation together are usually pretty concise, and they'll sum up pretty much what you need. I've also started looking at putting together a more professional storefront for the store for the eventual day when the book gets sold. That's going okay. Every bit of storefront software I've been able to find is horrendously complex and involves a hell of a lot of stuff, and it's all American based, so it's a pain in the backside. So I was trying to add some prettiness to the front page, rather than, there's quite a lot of content on the front page now, and you have to scroll quite a long way to get to most of it now, so I'm kind of trying to find somewhere we can put clickable banners that will rotate around, but the GP Easy software isn't the easiest thing to do that with. So feedback and questions this week, as I said, not a lot. I've had a couple of bits of feedback from a couple of people. I'm not going to name names. I've named Marco. He was one guy that asked about putting the PDFs up, but there's been a couple of guys who have emailed in and said they want text updates or written updates again, because for some reason they can't watch videos and must read text. Now, I'm sorry, but I am not going back to doing written updates, and I'm going to state this categorically at this point in time. Video updates are working far better for me than the written updates were. I can go through more information, I can go through it more concisely, I can cover a lot more ground in a lot less time. Something that would take me 3 hours to write takes me 15 minutes to put out. And if you look at that over the course of a month, when I was doing monthly updates, it would take 2 or 3 hours to write up. An entire month of weekly updates takes me less time, 2 hours altogether roughly, 15 minutes to present, and about 15 to 20 minutes each to put together, because it's just a summary of what I've been doing. I keep it off notes, put it on the agenda, and expand it out and put some pretty graphics on, which I've made anyway. So yes, I will not be going back to doing written updates until we get a fair possibility of doing so as we get further along the project. Once the main writing book on stuff on the book has been done, then I may look at doing like a summary update or some stuff through the forum as far to go through the editing process. Okay. Again, I will plug my 24-hour charity stream on the 12th and 13th of September that's next month. I will be doing a 24-hour stream in support of Marie Curie Cancer Care, who offer fantastic support for anyone who suffers from cancer or any of the relatives of people who do suffer from cancer. Do a fantastic job, and in recognition of that, and in recognition of the fact that my aunt is currently suffering with this horrible disease, I'm going to try and raise some money by sitting in front of a computer for 24 hours. Now, I struggle to sit in front of a computer for 4 hours because my ass starts to hurt, so it'll hopefully be painful for me and a bit of a challenge that doesn't involve having to run anywhere, because I'm not the best runner in the world. So we have some giveaways here. I've not had any more news about giveaways as of yet. Frontier Development said they were going to send me something through the post, so they haven't done that yet. But I'm not going to worry about it too much, because obviously they've been planning up for Gen Con or Gamescom, whatever it's called, this weekend, so I am not in any hurry in any way, shape or form. So if anybody from Frontier reads this, don't worry your arse about it. I can wait. Next update then, that's it for this week. Next update will be 17th of August, that's next Monday, 8 PM UK time, as usual at the start of the regular Selezen Plays stream. If you've got any comments, questions or feedback about this or any other updates, or you have anything you want to raise in the next update, then please let me know by 6 PM next Monday, and I'll stick it in the broadcast. You can get in touch with me by any of the contact means on the screen. I'm actually sounding quite professional doing this, that's quite cool. By all means get in touch. Any comments, positive or negative, are most welcome. Okay, that's it for now. That's it for the Elite Encounters update. If you're wanting to watch me on Elite Dangerous, I will be bouncing up the Elite Dangerous stream in about 5 minutes time, so please hang around if you want, in which case I shall see you anon. Otherwise, see you next week. Take care.